The judge's gavel slammed down like thunder. Sarah's mascara ran in black rivers down her cheeks. Mike, my best friend since college, the man who stood beside me at my wedding, couldn't even look at me. The courtroom fell silent as the recording played through the speakers. Sarah's voice crystal clear. Alex is so stupid. He actually thinks Mike cares about him. Once we get the house and the money, we're gone. Maybe Hawaii? Somewhere he can't find us. Laughter followed. Mike's laughter. The same laugh I'd heard 1,000 times over beers and barbecues. I sat there, hands folded, watching the two people I trusted most realize their lives were over. But getting to this moment, that nearly killed me. Before we dive in, if you're ready for a story about betrayal, revenge, and the truth that changes everything, hit that like button right now. And stick around until the end, because what happened next will shock you. Now, let's go back to where it all started. 6 months earlier, life felt simple. Good, even. I remember the exact moment. I thought I had everything figured out. It was a Tuesday evening in March. I'd gotten home from work around 6:30. Traffic on the highway had been lighter than usual. My briefcase hit the floor by the door. My jacket landed on the coat rack, and I heard it immediately. Giggles. The kind that only kids make when they're truly happy. I walked down the hallway toward Emma and Jack's bedroom. The door was cracked open, spilling warm lamplight into the corridor. Through the gap, I could see Sarah sitting on Emma's bed, her auburn hair falling over one shoulder as she held up a picture book. Our 7-year-old daughter sat on her left, our 5-year-old son on her right, both in matching dinosaur pajamas. And then, Sarah said, her voice dropping to a dramatic whisper, the dragon realized he was actually ticklish. Her fingers flew toward Jack's ribs. He squealed and fell backward onto the pillows, kicking his little feet in the air. Emma laughed so hard she snorted, which made Jack laugh even harder. Sarah's face lit up with pure joy, the kind of expression you can't fake. She caught them both in a hug, kissing Emma's forehead, then Jack's, lingering just a moment longer on each one. I stood in that doorway, my tie loosened, my shoulders finally relaxing after a long day of meetings and deadlines. My chest felt full, warm. This was it. This was everything I'd worked for. Daddy! Emma spotted me first. She scrambled off the bed and ran over, wrapping her small arms around my waist. Hey, pumpkin. I scooped her up, even though she was getting too big for it. Did Mom do the dragon voice? She did all the voices, Jack said, bouncing on the bed, even the princess. Sarah smiled at me from across the room. Her green eyes caught the lamplight. Welcome home. Wouldn't want to be anywhere else, I said. And I meant it. That was us. That was our normal. Sarah and I had been married for 9 years. We'd met at a friend's wedding, one of those chance meetings that feels like destiny. She'd been wearing a blue dress, standing alone by the dessert table, trying to decide between chocolate cake and cheesecake. I'd walked up and said, "Get both. Life's too short." She'd laughed. We'd talk until the DJ packed up. 3 months later, I proposed. Our life wasn't perfect. Nobody's is. Sarah liked nice things. She scrolled through real estate websites late at night, showing me houses with pools and granite countertops and 3-car garages. Someday, she'd say, that dreamy look in her eyes, when we've saved more. I'd nod and make jokes about winning the lottery. It seemed harmless. Everyone wants more, right? We had date nights. Friday evenings when my mom would watch the kids, and Sarah and I would go to that Italian place downtown, the one with the red checkered tablecloths and candles and wine bottles. We'd split a pizza, share a bottle of wine, talk about Emma's school projects and Jack's obsession with dinosaurs. Sarah would reach across the table and hold my hand, her thumb tracing circles on my palm. "I'm lucky," she'd say sometimes. "We both are," I'd reply. Mike was always around, too. Mike Chun, my best friend since sophomore year of college. We'd been roommates, study partners, groomsmen at each other's weddings. He was Jack's godfather. Every Sunday, he'd come over for dinner. He'd bring wine or dessert, help me grill burgers in the backyard while Sarah set the table. The kids adored him. Uncle Mike, they'd scream when his car pulled up. He'd chase them around the yard, pretending to be a monster. Sarah would laugh from the porch, calling us all children. Those were good days. Simple days. Looking back now, I can see the signs I missed. The way Mike stayed behind to help Sarah clean up while I put the kids to bed. The inside jokes that started appearing. Little comments I didn't understand, followed by knowing looks between them. The times I come home and find them sitting too close on the couch, jumping apart when I walked in. Just showing Mike those photos from Emma's recital. Sarah would say, I'd believed her. Why wouldn't I? When Mike joked about Sarah's spending habits once, better watch out, Alex. She'll have you buy a mansion next. I defended her. She just wanted a better life for the kids. I'd said, nothing wrong with having dreams. Mike had shrugged and changed the subject. One Saturday in April, Sarah was quieter than usual. She barely touched her coffee at breakfast. She stared out the kitchen window while the kids ate their cereal, her expression distant, troubled. You okay? I asked. Fine, she said quickly. Too quickly. Just tired. The kids keeping you up? Something like that. I'd walked over and kissed the top of her head. Why don't you take a nap later? I'll handle the grocery shopping. She nodded but didn't smile. That night, after we'd put Emma and Jack to bed, Sarah asked them to sit down in the living room. Her voice had a strange flatness to it, like someone reading from a script they didn't believe in. We need to talk, she said. 3 words. That's all it took for my stomach to drop. I sat on the couch. She sat in the chair across from me, not beside me, which should have told me everything right there. I want a divorce. The words hung in the air like smoke. I stared at her, certain I'd misheard. What? I'm not happy anymore, Alex. I haven't been for a while. I want a divorce. My mouth went dry. Sarah, where is this coming from? Did something happen? Did I do something? It's not one thing. It's everything. I need more. I need different. Different. I leaned forward, my heart hammering. We can fix this. Marriage counseling. A vacation. Whatever you need. We have 2 kids. Sarah, we can't just... I've already talked to a lawyer. The room tilted. She'd talked to a lawyer. Past tense. This wasn't a conversation. It was an announcement. A decision she'd already made without me. When my voice cracked. Last week, while I'd been grilling burgers, while I'd been helping Jack with his dinosaur puzzle, while I'd been kissing her goodnight and saying I love you into the darkness of our bedroom. I want to keep this simple, Sarah continued, her tone businesslike. Cold, for the kids' sake. We split custody 50-50. We sell the house, divide everything fairly. No drama. I couldn't speak. My throat had closed up completely. Sarah stood. I'm sleeping in the guest room tonight. We can tell the kids together tomorrow. She left, just walked out of the living room, like she just told me she was going to the grocery store. I sat there for hours, staring at nothing, trying to understand how the woman who'd done funny voices for our children 3 hours ago could destroy our family with such efficiency. The lawyer Sarah hired was aggressive. That became clear within days. The divorce papers arrived by courier. I sat at my kitchen table, our kitchen table, and read through page after page of legal language that boiled down to one thing. Sarah wanted everything. The house, the cars, primary custody of Emma and Jack, with me getting them every other weekend. Child support that would eat up most of my paycheck. I called the number of a family lawyer my buddy from work recommended. Her name was Jennifer Park. She agreed to meet with me that afternoon. This is bad, Jennifer said after reviewing the papers. She was in her 40s, sharp-eyed, with gray-streaked hair pulled back in a tight bun. Her office smelled like coffee and old books. Your wife is asking for primary custody based on... Hold on. She flipped through pages. Based on accusations of infidelity. What? I sat forward so fast my chair squeaked. I never cheated on Sarah. Never. Not once. She claims you've been having an affair with a co-worker, Emily Parker. Says it's been going on for over a year. Emily, my project manager at work. I'd worked with her on 3 different accounts. We had coffee together exactly twice, both times in the office cafeteria with other team members present. We'd exchanged maybe 50 work emails total. That's insane, I said. Emily's married. We're colleagues. That's it. Jennifer's expression didn't change. Your wife has evidence. Text messages. Photos. Receipts from hotels. That's impossible. She slid a folder across the desk. See for yourself. My hand shook as I opened it. The first page showed a text conversation, supposedly between Emily and me. The messages were romantic, explicit. Can't wait to see you tonight. Room 412. And a response. Miss you already. Last weekend was perfect. I'd never sent those messages. Never. The second page showed a photo. Emily and I sitting together at what looked like a hotel bar. She was laughing, her hand on my arm. I was smiling back. Except I'd never been to that hotel. Never sat in that bar. The photo was wrong. The lighting was off. The angles didn't match up. But unless you looked closely, it seemed real. This is fake, I said. All of it. Sarah, she made this up. Can you prove that? I don't know how yet, but I will. Jennifer closed the folder. The hearing is in 2 weeks. Until then, there's a temporary custody arrangement. Your wife gets primary custody. You get supervised visitation twice a week. Supervised? I stood up. Why? Because of the fair allegations. The court considers you a potential flight risk. I'm not going anywhere. Those are my kids. I know, but for now, we have to play by their rules. I moved into a cramped apartment across town. 1 bedroom. Thin walls, a radiator that clanked all night. I unpacked 3 boxes, clothes, toiletries, a framed photo of Emma and Jack from last Christmas, and sat on the edge of the bed, my head in my hands. My phone buzzed. Mike! Mike! Hey man, heard about the divorce. I'm so sorry. Let me know if you need anything. I stared at the message. Mike had been quiet since Sarah's announcement. No Sunday dinners. No calls to check in. And now a casual text that felt more like obligation and friendship. Something twisted in my gut. I didn't respond. The first supervised visit happened 3 days later. I drove to a building downtown, a place called Family Transition Center. It was painted yellow, with cheerful murals of butterflies and rainbows on the walls. Inside, it smelled like cleaning supplies and sadness. A woman named Carol met me in the lobby. She was older, with kind eyes and a clipboard. You must be Alex. Emma and Jack are in the playroom. You'll have 2 hours. I'll be observing from the corner. Observing? Standard procedure. Don't worry, just be yourself. She led me down a hallway to a room full of toys, books, and small tables. Emma and Jack were sitting on a rug, building something with blocks. They looked up when I walked in. Daddy. Jack jumped up and ran to me. I caught him, lifting him into the air. He was warm and solid and real. My eyes burned. Hey, buddy, I missed you. Emma came over more slowly. Why do we have to meet here? She asked. Her voice was small. Confused. It's just for a little while, I said, setting Jack down and kneeling to hug Emma. Just until Mom and I figure some things out. Are you and Mom getting divorced? Emma asked. 7 years old, and already she knew. Kids always know. Yeah, sweetheart, we are, but that doesn't change how much I love you, or how much Mom loves you. Okay. She nodded, but her eyes were wet. We spent 2 hours playing board games and drawing pictures. Jack told me about a new dinosaur he'd learned about in school. Emma showed me a story she'd written about a princess who saved a kingdom. I listened to every word, memorized every smile, tried to hold on to these moments like they were oxygen. Carol stayed in the corner the whole time, writing notes. When the visit ended, Jack cried. Emma hugged me tight and whispered, "Come home, Daddy. I'm working on it." I said. The real punch came a week later. Jennifer called me into her office again. Her face was grim. "We have a problem," she said. "A witness has come forward to corroborate your wife's claims." "What witness?" She handed me another document. I scanned it, and the world went black at the edges. It was a sworn statement. Signed and notarized. From Mike, my best friend. The man I trusted with my children. The man I called family. In the statement, Mike claimed he'd personally witnessed me and Emily together. Multiple times. He said he'd seen us at restaurants, holding hands. That he confronted me about it a month ago, and I'd asked him to keep quiet. He said he'd tried to talk sense into me. That he'd warned me I was destroying my family. Every word was a lie. I read it 3 times, each pass making my hands shake harder. Alex. Jennifer's voice sounded far away. He's lying, I managed to say. My voice sounded hollow. Dead. Mike is lying. Do you know why he would do that? I thought about the inside jokes. The way he stayed late at our house. The guilty look on Sarah's face before she asked for the divorce. And suddenly I knew. He's sleeping with her. I said, Mike and Sarah. That's why he's doing this. That's why she wants a divorce. Jennifer leaned back in her chair. That's a serious accusation. It's the truth. Can you prove it? I couldn't. Not yet. But I would. That night, I sat in my car outside Mike's house. It was 2 a.m. The street was dark and silent. Mike's porch light glowed yellow. His car sat in the driveway, the same car that had been parked in my driveway every Sunday for years. I had a bottle of whiskey in the passenger seat. I drunk half of it. My vision was blurry, my thoughts loud and jagged. I pictured walking up to that door, pounding on it until Mike answered, grabbing him by the shirt and dragging him outside, telling him exactly what I thought of him, what I'd do to him. My hand went to the door handle. I got out of the car. The cold night air hit my face. I walked up the driveway, each step heavy and unsteady. I reached the porch, raised my fist, knocked once, hard, nothing. I knocked again, then again. Then I was pounding on the door with both fists, the whiskey roaring through my veins, and I didn't care who heard. Mike! I shouted, open the door! A light flicked on inside. Then another. The door opened a crack. Mike's face appeared, hair messy, eyes wide with fear. Alex, what the hell? You lied, I said. My voice was shaking. You lied in that statement. You destroyed me. Alex, you're drunk. You need to go home. You're sleeping with her, aren't you? With Sarah. That's why you did it. That's why. Go home, Alex. He started to close the door. I grabbed the edge of it. I trusted you. I said, my throat was closing up. You were my brother. Mike's expression hardened. Go home before I call the police. He shut the door. I heard the deadbolt click. I stood there, swaying, my fist raised and knock again, to break the door down if I had to. Then I pictured Emma's face. The way she'd hugged me at the visitation center. The way Jack had cried when I had to leave. If I got arrested tonight, I'd lose them. Sarah and Mike would win. I lowered my fist, turned around, walked back to my car on legs that barely worked. I sat in the driver's seat for 20 minutes, shaking, my head against the steering wheel. The whiskey bottle mocked me from the passenger seat. Not for me, I whispered, for them. I started the car and drove away. The next morning, I woke up on my apartment floor, still in yesterday's clothes, my head pounding like a drum. Sunlight stabbed through the blinds. My mouth tasted like metal and regret. My phone had 14 missed calls. 3 from Jennifer. 11 from numbers I didn't recognize. I sat up slowly, the room spinning. What had I done? I remembered Mike's house. The pounding. The shouting. I grabbed my phone and called Jennifer. Where have you been? She demanded. I've been trying to reach you for hours. I messed up last night. Did you go to Mike's house? My stomach dropped. How did you? He filed a restraining order, Alex, against you. He claims you showed up drunk, threatened him, tried to force your way inside. He has doorbell camera footage. The room tilted again. I didn't threaten him, I said. I wanted answers. It doesn't matter what you wanted. You gave them ammunition. Sarah's lawyer is already using this to paint you as unstable, dangerous. I closed my eyes. I'm sorry. Sorry doesn't help. What helps is you getting yourself together. Because if you don't, you're going to lose everything. She hung up. I sat there, phone in hand, staring at the wall. I'd nearly lost it, nearly thrown away any chance I had of getting my kids back. But sitting there, hungover and ashamed, something shifted inside me. The rage I'd felt last night, the blind, drunk fury, burned away. What remained was colder, sharper. Mike and Sarah wanted me to break. They wanted me to explode, to prove I was everything they said I was. I wouldn't give them that. I'd beat them another way. So there I was. My wife wanted everything. My best friend had betrayed me, and I'd almost destroyed myself trying to fight back the wrong way. But sometimes the people who hurt you the most give you the strength to become someone they never expected. What I found next changed everything. And trust me, you won't see it coming. The morning after my breakdown, I sat in my apartment with a notebook and a clear head. No more whiskey. No more late-night drives. No more losing control. If I was going to win this, I needed to be smarter than them. Calmer. Better. I started with the evidence Sarah had submitted, those fake text messages and photos. I printed everything out and spread it across my coffee table. There had to be something. Some crack in the lie. I looked at the photo of Emily and me at the hotel bar. Studied it for 10 minutes straight. The lighting was wrong. The shadows fell from the left, but the lamp in the background cast light from the right. And Emily's hand on my arm, the angle was odd, unnatural, like two separate photos had been merged together. My pulse quickened. I grabbed my laptop and opened the file Jennifer had sent me. I zoomed in on the timestamp in the corner of the photo. March 14th, 7:43 p.m. March 14th. I pulled up my calendar. On March 14th, I'd been at Emma's school play. The whole evening. Sarah had been there too. I had photos on my phone of us sitting together in the auditorium. The hotel photo was fake. I checked the text messages next. The one supposedly between Emily and me. I read through them again, looking for anything off. Then I saw it. One message mentioned last weekend at the cabin. But Emily and I had never gone anywhere together. I'd never been to any cabin. I grabbed my phone and scrolled back through my actual text history with Emily. Work messages. All of them. Did you finish the Johnson report? And meeting moved to 3 p.m. and thanks for covering that call. Nothing romantic. Nothing close. Someone had made up those messages. Created fake conversations that never happened. Sarah. Or Mike. Or both. I called Jennifer the next morning. I need a private investigator, I said, and someone who knows about digital forensics. That's expensive, Alex. I don't care. I need to prove this evidence is fake. And I need to know what Sarah and Mike are really doing. There was a pause. Then, okay, I know some people. Good people. Let me make some calls. 2 days later, I met Marcus Webb in a coffee shop downtown. Marcus was in his 50s, built like a boxer, with gray hair buzzed short and sharp eyes that missed nothing. He'd been a police detective for 20 years before going private. Your lawyer says you need help, he said, shaking my hand. His grip was firm, solid. My wife is framing me for an affair I didn't have. My best friend is backing up her lies. I need to prove it. Marcus pulled out a small notebook. Tell me everything. I did. Every detail. The divorce announcement. The fake evidence. Mike's betrayal. The restraining order. The supervised visits with my kids. Marcus listened without interrupting. When I finished, he nodded slowly. This is a setup, he said. A good one, but still a setup. People always make mistakes. We just need to find them. Can you do that? I can try, but I need you to stay clean. No more showing up at people's houses drunk. No confrontations. You understand? I thought about that night outside Mike's door. The shame that still burned in my chest. I understand, I said. Good. I'll start digging. Give me a week. That week felt like a year. I went to work, came home, ate meals I didn't taste, attended my supervised visits with Emma and Jack, forcing smiles while Carol watched from her corner with her clipboard. At night, I lay awake, staring at the ceiling, replaying every moment with Sarah and Mike, looking for clues I'd missed, signs I'd ignored. The way Sarah's spending had increased over the past year. The new clothes, the salon visits, the weekend girls' trips that always seemed to leave her glowing and distant. The way Mike had started calling less, showing up more, always ready to help, always there when I wasn't. How long had it been going on? 6 months? A year? Longer? Had they laughed about me? Planned this together? Decided which lies to tell and when? The thought made my stomach turn. On day 8, Marcus called. Meet me at my office. Now, I drove across town, my heart hammering. Marcus's office was above a dry cleaner, up a narrow staircase that smelled like detergent and old wood. The door had his name painted in gold letters. Marcus Webb, Private Investigations. Inside, the office was small but organized. File cabinets lined one wall. A desk held 2 computer monitors and stacks of folders. Marcus sat behind the desk, his expression unreadable. Sit, he said. I sat. He turned one monitor toward me. First, the photos. I had a forensic analyst examine them. Every single one is fake. The screen showed the hotel bar photo, but now it was covered in colored overlays and technical markings. See this? Marcus pointed to a section of the image. This is Emily's arm. It was copied from a different photo and pasted onto this one. The pixels don't match. The compression artifacts are wrong. And here, he pointed to my face, your head is from your company website. Same exact angle. Same lighting. Someone cut out and dropped it into the scene. Relief flooded through me. So it's fake. Provably fake. All of them are. The text too. They were created using a fake message generator. You can find them online. They look real until you check the metadata. There's nothing linking these messages to your actual phone. Will this hold up in court? Absolutely. I've got a full forensic report. Any judge will see this for what it is. Fabrication. I exhaled for what felt like the first time in days. What about Sarah, Mike? Marcus's expression darkened. He pulled up another window on the second monitor. Bank statements. This is where it gets interesting, he said. Over the past year, Sarah has paid Mike a total of $43,000, all listed as personal loans. 43,000? Wire transfers, direct deposits, always in round numbers. 5,000 here, 3,000 there, all to Mike's personal account. My hands clenched into fists. She paid him to lie. Looks that way. But there's more. Marcus opened another folder. Photos. Dozens of them. Sarah and Mike having dinner at an expensive restaurant. Sarah and Mike getting into a car together, her hand on his chest. Sarah and Mike entering a hotel. Not the fake hotel from the doctored photos, but a real one. The timestamp showed 3 weeks ago. I've been following them, Marcus said. They're not subtle. They meet 3 times a week. Always at hotels or restaurants on the other side of town. Always while you're at work or at your supervised visits. I stared at the photos. Sarah wearing a red dress I'd never seen. Mike's arm around her waist. Both of them smiling like they'd won something. How long? I asked quietly. Based on the bank records and their patterns? At least a year. Maybe longer. A year. While I'd been working late to save for the house Sarah wanted. While I'd been taking the kids to the park every Saturday. While I'd been defending her to Mike and calling him family. They'd been together, planning this, building their lie brick by brick. There's one more thing, Marcus said. He pulled out a small recording device. I managed to get audio. It's legal. They were in a public restaurant. No expectation of privacy. You need to hear this. He pressed play. Static crackled. Then voices. Sarah's first. Can't believe he actually fell for it. Mike laughed. That familiar laugh that used to make me laugh too. Alex always was too trusting. Made it easy. Do you think he suspects? About us? Doesn't matter. Even if he does, we've got the fake evidence. The signed statement. Everything. There's no way he proves anything before the hearing. And after, Sarah's voice. Hopeful. Excited. After we take the kids and the money and go somewhere warm. Hawaii, maybe, or the Caribbean. Somewhere Alex can't find us. What about the kids? Will they ask about him? A pause. Then Mike. They'll forget eventually. Kids are flexible. Sarah laughed. God, he looked so pathetic at that last visit. Like a kicked puppy. More laughter. Both of them. The recording ended. I sat there, hands shaking, staring at the device. They wanted to take my kids and disappear. Make Emma and Jack forget I existed. Erase me like I was nothing. That's enough, right? I said. My voice was hoarse. That's enough to win? Marcus nodded. More than enough. Between the forensic evidence, the bank records, and this recording, they're done. The hearing was scheduled for May 12th, 2 weeks away. I spent those 2 weeks preparing with Jennifer. We went over every piece of evidence, every detail, every question the judge might ask. You need to stay calm, Jennifer said on the day before the hearing. No matter what they say, no matter what happens in that courtroom, you stay calm and let the evidence speak. I will, I promised. That night, I couldn't sleep. I kept thinking about Emma and Jack, about getting them back, about reading them bedtime stories and doing the funny voices, about being their father again, full-time, no supervision, no restrictions, about watching Sarah and Mike realize their lives were over. The courtroom was smaller than I expected. Wooden benches, high ceilings, an American flag in the corner, the judge's bench at the front, elevated and imposing. I sat at a table on the left side with Jennifer. Sarah sat on the right with her lawyer, a thin man in an expensive suit named David Brennan. Mike sat in the gallery behind Sarah, his hands folded, his face calm. Too calm. The judge entered. Everyone stood. Judge Patricia Morrison was in her 60s, with silver hair and eyes that had seen every lie and truth the courtroom could hold. Be seated, she said. Her voice carried authority. We're here for the custody hearing in the matter of Walker versus Walker. Let's begin. Sarah's lawyer went first. Your Honor, Brennan said, standing. My client is a devoted mother seeking to protect her children from an unstable and unfaithful father. Mr. Walker engaged in a lengthy affair, lied to his family, and recently demonstrated dangerous behavior by appearing at a witness's home intoxicated and threatening violence. Jennifer started to stand, but Judge Morrison held up a hand. I'll hear evidence first. Continue. Brennan presented the fake photos, the fake texts, Mike's sworn statement, which Mike repeated from the witness stand, his voice steady and convincing. I saw them together multiple times. Mike said, at restaurants, once at a coffee shop. They tried to hide it, but I knew. I confronted Alex about it, and he begged me to stay quiet. And why did you stay quiet? Brennan asked. Because he was my best friend. I didn't want to hurt him, but I couldn't lie when Sarah asked me what I knew. She deserved the truth. Judge Morrison looked at me. Mr. Walker, do you wish to respond? I stood. Jennifer put a hand on my arm, steadying me. Your Honor, everything Mike just said is a lie. I never had an affair. Not with Emily. Not with anyone. And I can prove it. Sarah's face flickered. Just for a second. Doubt. Or maybe fear. Very well. Judge Morrison said. Present your evidence. Jennifer stood. Your Honor, we have a forensic analysis of the photos and text messages submitted by Mrs. Walker. She handed a folder to the bailiff, who passed it to the judge. Jennifer pulled up the images on a screen at the front of the courtroom. This photo, Jennifer said, pointing to the hotel bar image, is a composite, multiple images edited together. Our expert can testify that it was created using photo editing software. The metadata proves it was never taken by a camera. It was generated digitally. She pulled up the technical analysis, the colored overlays, the mismatched pixels. Judge Morrison leaned forward, studying the screen. The text messages are similarly fake, Jennifer continued, created using a message generator website. There's no record of these texts on Mr. Walker's phone or cell provider records. Brennan jumped to his feet. Objection. This is speculation. It's forensic evidence. Jennifer shot back. Submitted by a certified expert. Would you like him to testify? Yes, Judge Morrison said. I would. The forensic analyst, a quiet man named Dr. Raymond Cho, took the stand. He walked through every detail. Every piece of proof that the photos and messages were fake. Sarah shifted in her seat. Her face was pale now. Brennan whispered furiously to her, but she didn't respond. Jennifer wasn't finished. Your Honor, we also have evidence of financial transactions between Mrs. Walker and the witness, Mike Chun. She presented the bank records. The $43,000. Every transfer, every date, laid out clearly. These payments were made over the past year, Jennifer said. All from Mrs. Walker to Mr. Chun. We believe they were payment for his false testimony. Mike stood up in the gallery. That's not. Those were loans. Sit down, Mr. Chun, Judge Morrison said sharply. You'll have a chance to respond. Mike sat, his jaw tight. Finally, Jennifer said, we have this. She pulled out the recording device, placed it on the table. This is audio from a conversation between Mrs. Walker and Mr. Chun, recorded 3 weeks ago in a public restaurant. She pressed play. The courtroom filled with their voices. Can't believe he actually fell for it. Alex always was too trusting. Made it easy. Sarah's eyes went wide. She grabbed Brennan's arm, shaking her head. He tried to speak, but the recording continued. After, we take the kids and the money and go somewhere warm. Hawaii, maybe. Or the Caribbean. Somewhere Alex can't find us. What about the kids? Will they ask about him? They'll forget eventually. Kids are flexible. The laughter that followed echoed through the courtroom. God! He looked so pathetic at that last visit. Like a kicked puppy. Judge Morrison's expression changed. The neutral mask fell away, replaced by something hard and angry. The recording ended. Silence. Sarah was crying. Real tears this time, not the practice ones she cried earlier. Mike sat frozen, his face white. Mrs. Walker, Judge Morrison said. Her voice was ice. Do you have anything to say? Sarah looked at Brennan. He shook his head slightly, don't speak. But Sarah broke. It wasn't supposed to. Mike said it would work. He said, Mrs. Walker, be quiet. Brennan hissed. He told me Alex would just accept it. Sarah's voice rose. Panic. He said we get the money and leave, and no one would care. Mrs. Walker. Brennan grabbed her arm. Sarah turned on him. This is your fault. You said the evidence looked real. She turned to Mike. And you? You said he'd never find out. Mike stood again. Sarah, shut up. Both of you, sit down. Judge Morrison's gavel slammed down like a gunshot. The courtroom went silent again. Judge Morrison looked at Sarah, then at Mike, then at the papers in front of her. I've been a judge for 23 years, she said quietly. I've seen parents lie. I've seen them cheat and manipulate. But I have never seen anything quite like this. She turned to Sarah. You fabricated evidence. You paid a witness to commit perjury. You conspire to take children away from their father based entirely on lies. Your Honor, I can explain, Sarah started. No. Judge Morrison cut her off. No explanations. No excuses. She looked at me. Mr. Walker, I apologize. You should never have been subjected to this. Judge Morrison's final ruling came down like thunder. Primary custody to me. Full and immediate. Sarah would get supervised visitation only. Once a week. 2 hours. Just like she'd forced on me. She was ordered to pay all my legal fees. All investigative costs. Every dollar I'd spent proving the truth. And finally, I am referring this matter to the district attorney for investigation into perjury and conspiracy charges. Both Mrs. Walker and Mr. Chin may face criminal prosecution. Sarah collapsed into her chair, sobbing. Mike walked out of the courtroom without looking back. I sat there numb as Jennifer squeezed my shoulder. You won, she said. Yeah, I said softly. I did. 2 days later, I picked up Emma and Jack from Sarah's apartment. It was small, 1 bedroom. Across town in a neighborhood where the paint peeled off buildings and trash collected in corners. A far cry from the house she'd wanted. The mansion with a pool and granite countertops. Sarah answered the door. She looked terrible. No makeup, hair unwashed, eyes red and swollen. "They're almost ready," she said. She wouldn't look at me. I waited in the doorway. "Emma," and Jack came running out, backpack bouncing. "Daddy." Jack crashed into my legs. "Ready to go home?" I asked, scooping him up. "Yes." Emma grabbed my hand. Sarah stood in the doorway, watching. For just a moment, I saw her face in the lamplight, the way it had looked that night when she'd read bedtime stories, when she'd kissed their foreheads and lingered just a moment longer. That person felt like someone from another lifetime. "Sarah," I said. She looked up. "They need you to be their mother. Not your best version or your worst. Just their mother. Can you do that?" Her chin trembled. She nodded. "Good." I turned and walked the car with my kids. The first night back in our house, the real house, the one I'd managed to keep, I read Emma and Jack bedtime stories. I did all the voices. The dragon, the princess, the ticklish monster. They laughed. Jack fell asleep halfway through, his little hand curled against his cheek. Emma lasted longer, but her eyes were drooping by the final page. "Daddy," she whispered. "Yeah, pumpkin? Are you staying?" My throat tightened. "I'm staying. Promise." "Good." She closed her eyes. I sat there for a while, watching them sleep. My children. Safe. Home. This was what I'd fought for. 3 months later, I started therapy. Dr. Lisa Harmon specialized in people going through traumatic divorces. Her office was quiet, with soft chairs and warm lighting. "What brings you here?" she asked during our first session. "I won my custody case," I said. "Got everything I wanted. My kids are safe. My ex-wife and former best friend lost everything. But I can't stop checking things. Timestamps on photos. Messages from people. I look at my friends and wonder if they're lying, if they're secretly planning something." Dr. Harmon nodded. "Trust is hard to rebuild once it's broken." "Yeah, it won't be quick, but it is possible." I wanted to believe her. 6 months after the trial, I went on a date. Her name was Rachel. We'd met at a coffee shop. Literally bumped into each other, spilled drinks, laughed about it. She was an elementary school teacher. Kind eyes. Easy smile. We went to dinner at a small Italian place. Not the one Sarah and I used to go to. Somewhere new. The conversation flowed. We talked about work, about hobbies, about our favorite movies. She was funny, smart, easy to talk to. Then her phone buzzed. She glanced at it and laughed. "Sorry," she said. "My brother just sent the dumbest meme." She turned her phone toward me to show me. It was innocent. Some joke about cats and Christmas trees. But when she turned the phone, I saw a text preview at the top of the screen. From someone named Mark. "Can't wait for tonight." My chest tightened. Tonight? Rachel was still talking, but I couldn't hear her. My mind was racing. Who's Mark? Why is she having dinner with me if she has plans with him tonight? Is she lying? I felt cold, detached. "Alex." Rachel's voice pulled me back. "You okay?" "Yeah," I said automatically. I need to use the bathroom." I stood up, walked to the back of the restaurant, stood in the bathroom, gripping the sink, staring at my reflection. She's not Sarah. This isn't the same. But the doubt was there. The paranoia. The certainty that everyone was hiding something. I splashed cold water on my face. Took 3 deep breaths. When I came back to the table, Rachel was looking at her phone again. "Everything okay?" I asked. "Yeah. My brother wants to know if I can watch my nephew tomorrow night. His wife is a work thing." Brother. Nephew. The text had been about babysitting. "I should go," I said. "I'm sorry. It's not you. I'm not ready for this." Rachel's face fell. "Oh, okay." I paid for dinner. Apologized again. Left. In the car, I sat with my hands on the steering wheel, staring at nothing. I'd won everything. My kids, my house, my name. But part of me was still outside Mike's house, fists raised, ready to break. Part of me was still reading those fake texts, believing lies. Part of me was still hearing Sarah and Mike laugh about how pathetic I looked. It's been a year now since the trial. Emma is 8. Jack is 6. We've found our rhythm. Breakfast together every morning. Homework at the kitchen table. Bedtime stories with all the voices. Sarah sees them every Saturday. 2 hours supervised. She shows up on time now. Brings coloring books and small toys. She's trying. It doesn't erase what she did, but it's something. Mike disappeared. Left town, according to mutual friends we no longer have in common. I don't know where he went. Don't care to know. I'm still in therapy. Dr. Harmon says I'm making progress. Some days, I believe her. I went on another date last month. Different woman. Different restaurant. It went better. I didn't panic when her phone buzzed. Didn't check the timestamp on her photos when she showed me pictures of her vacation. Baby steps. I learned something through all of this. Winning doesn't mean everything goes back to normal. Justice doesn't erase what happened. Getting your kids back doesn't make you whole again. Sarah took something from me that night she asked for the divorce. Mike took even more when he signed that false statement. They took my ability to trust easily, to believe in people without questioning their motives, to see a photo or read a message without looking for the lie underneath. Some nights, I still sit in my car, not outside Mike's house anymore, but in my own driveway, and I think about how close I came to losing everything, how close I came to destroying myself. But then Emma knocks on the car window, wondering why I'm not coming inside. Or Jack opens the front door and yells that dinner's ready. And I remember I didn't lose. I won. Not just the custody case. Not just the house or the money or the vindication. I won the only thing that ever really mattered. My children know I fought for them. They know I didn't give up. They know their father loves them more than anything in this world. That's worth the scars, the paranoia, the sleepless nights. Sarah and Mike want to take my kids and disappear. Make Emma and Jack forget me. Build a new life on the ashes of mine. Instead, they lost everything. Their reputations, their futures, each other. Eventually, Sarah told me during one pickup that Mike stopped answering her calls after the charges were filed. Turns out loyalty bought with $43,000 doesn't last very long. I should feel satisfied, triumphant, completely whole. Most days I do, but some days I'm still learning how to trust again. Still checking timestamps. Still wondering if the people around me are showing me their real faces, or just the ones they want me to see. Dr. Harmon says that's normal. That trauma changes you. That healing isn't about going back to who you were before. It's about becoming someone new, someone stronger. I hope she's right, because I can't go back. Can't unknow what I learned about the people I love most. Can't unfeel the way it felt to hear them laugh about me on that recording. But I can move forward, with Emma and Jack, with therapy, with the slow, painful work of letting people in again. Justice feels good. Healing feels harder. But both are real. And maybe that's enough. So that's my story. The woman I trusted destroyed me for money. The friend I called family betrayed me for her. But I didn't break. I fought back the right way, with truth, with evidence, with patience I didn't know I had. I got my kids back. I got my life back. But some scars don't fade. Some lessons stay with you forever. If you made it this far, thank you for listening. If this story moved you, hit that like button and share it with someone who needs to hear that the truth always wins eventually, even when it takes everything you have to prove it. And hey, subscribe if you want more real stories about real people surviving real betrayal. Because life isn't always fair, but it can be just. Take care of yourselves. Trust carefully. And never let anyone make you forget what you're worth.